All right, the 2014 Toyota Avalon review. Let's get started here. Who do we have to thank for this opportunity? It is none other than Cary Imports. So if you're interested in this vehicle, well, go ahead, check out their little website. And for once, I think this vehicle, you don't really need a warranty. Well, that's up to you if you want it or not. This vehicle costs about 17 grand, about half of its original MSRP. And I have done a review on a 2021 Toyota Avalon, so I will leave a link down in the description box to that video, as well as just about every Lexus on the planet outside of an LFA. Go ahead, have fun. Let's just get started here. One of the first things I noticed about this vehicle is when I first started it up, it doesn't even feel like the engine is running. Many people have been looking for an affordable daily driver. So I'm trying to review cars that I think are good and could fit in your budget and is a satisfactory driving experience. So let's start out with the looks here. In 2013, this vehicle got fully redesigned, so it's no longer the grandma car, right? The retirement mobile. No, this thing actually looks great. I love the way this Avalon looks. It's a sharp looking ride, and with the design comes a more aggressive driving demeanor, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But this vehicle also sheds about 100 pounds over the previous generation Avalons. Weighs around 34 to 3,500 pounds, somewhere in there. You let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the looks of this vehicle. Do you like this more than the new 2021s? The other thing is, many people, they seem to think that these cars are unchanged or this is the same as like a 2021. Well, let's see if that's true or not. Let's transition over into this drive and see what it can do. And bend this little corner right here. Wow. Well done. Damn, this thing certainly doesn't have an issue with speed, that's for sure. The stability is great. The performance, power was never really the issue here. This thing has the traditional 3.5 liter V6 engine producing 268 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque. And the best part is you can put regular fuel in this, and this will net you about 21 in the city and 31 on the highway. Those are important things for me when considering a daily driver, an affordable one anyway. So it's great that you can put regular fuel, especially with the crazy fuel prices that we have going on today. And the power is going to make you happy for sure. I did notice a slight little rumble or vibration coming from I guess it's the brakes when I was coming to a stop there. But other than that, no problems. The steering on this is stupid light. This is it's too light actually. The 2021 does feel a tad bit tighter, but again, we will check out more of this handling here in a little bit, and we will take it over some more jittery bumps. They have stiffened up the suspension compared to the previous generation Avalons, and they try to make it quieter as well. So it's not just the driving dynamics, they have also tried to improve its refinement characteristics, bring it closer to something like a Lexus product. We do have use of double pane glass here in the front, so this is actually a pretty damn quiet car. We also have 18-inch wheels on this because this is the XLE, so it's one of the more base trim models, if you want to say that. And we have your 225 wide tires in all four corners, so we'll see how that handles. I do like the smaller wheels and the skinnier tires for replacement cost purposes. The 2021 XLE that I checked out, that also had 18-inch wheels with 225 wide tires, and that handled really well. It handled better than pretty much all of the brand new Lexus ES350 cars. We have here a 6-speed automatic transmission and doing a great job. We also have some paddle shifters here, so I'll put into the sport mode for the transmission, and I'll press the sport button, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, the paddle shifters are doing a very good job in this actually. I like how the paddles, they kind of rev match the downshifts and everything. So this is a pretty legitimate automatic transmission. I don't mind that, but you can just leave it in the regular mode and it does a great job. All these Lexus Toyota products, they do a great job with their 6-speed automatics because they're calibrated correctly. They react really well when you put your foot down into it. They're very quick to respond. And this engine is really quick to respond as well. That's the other thing I really like. And if I haven't mentioned this already, this car has 77,000 miles on it. And I like to drive this car into the sport mode because unlike most other sport modes in just about every other car, it's not putting you into like a ridiculously lower gear. This still hovers at around like 1200 to 1500 RPMs for daily driving purposes. So you get the benefits of a quicker reacting transmission when you put into the sport mode, but you're not really losing out much in terms of the fuel economy because it still cruises at a acceptable RPM. But honestly, outside of the really light steering, this does feel pretty damn similar to the 2021, I'm not gonna lie. But I like how direct this car is. I like how easy it is to place out on the road. This is a pretty big car. It's a full-size sedan, but it's so easy and nimble. People have told me to test drive the previous generation Avalon. I hate the way that thing looks. It looks like a total turd on wheels, but people say that's got like an American car kind of demeanor to it. Yeah, I went over some railroad bumps, and you know, when you go over the larger bumps, what happens is you kind of hear it more. It's not uncomfortable, but you kind of hear it a little bit more. So I guess the newer Avalon is just a hair more refined, but really that's not really worth paying twice the money for, if I'm going to be honest with you. This is a very reliable car, and to get at half the price in this market, in this day and age, this is a pretty damn good daily driver, one that I would personally consider. The other thing is, you know, I'll take the traction control off here. You're not really... Yeah, you are going to be spinning the front tires when you kind of mash it with the traction off. Yeah, this car could really benefit from a stickier set of tires. Like if you put like a performance all-season tire on here, maybe even upgrade the width of it a little bit to maybe 235s and put like extreme contact Continentals on here, or even the new Michelin performance all seasons on here, this could grip a little bit better because the chassis is really good on this car. There's not a unbelievable amount of body roll in it or anything like that. This is a very well done car. This is a lot of car for the money, honestly. This is one of the better used cars I have tested for the money. So yeah, concluding thoughts, the vehicle drives great. It's smooth. You hardly even notice the car doing its thing. It's so damn quiet. Even when you floor it, this engine doesn't make a racket. It's just nice, smooth power delivery. I love the transmission. The ride quality is excellent 98% of the time. It's only when you go over like the harshest of bumps or potholes where you hear the bump, but it still absorbs it really nicely. This is a very non-fatiguing machine. The only real cons to this driving experience that I noticed is under very hard braking, you can get a slight vibration, which I believe is due to slightly more warped brake pads, or brake rotors, I'm sorry. You could upgrade the tire and it won't peel out as much because this is a front-wheel drive machine and it's making a lot of power actually. The newer ones make like 300 horsepower, but really this pulls just as well as the 301 horsepower Avalon does. It's actually pretty impressive in terms of its power delivery. It's very effortless. So yeah, upgrade those tires. It should stick just a bit better than what it is already. Enjoy that. It's got good dynamics. It's easy to place out on the road. And as you're about to see in the interior segment, there's plenty of space here. So let's go ahead and let's transition over into the interior segment and let's talk about that. All right, now that we are stopped, let's go ahead and let's talk about this interiors. I almost always tell people if you're in the market for a Camry, really look into the Avalon if you possibly can, because they drive better, they're quieter, they're smoother, and also their interiors are seemingly nicer anyway. And you also get a few extra features like heated seats in the front, even in this XLE trim. And you have a little display right here, a little infotainment that you can play with. You also have a backup camera in there as well. It does not have like the lines that move with the steering wheels. One of the things I do want to note about this interior space is actually kind of the material. So you do have the nicer kind of softer touch, like this vinyl leather thing going on all throughout this interior. So it feels a little bit more plush in here than your traditional Camry or something like that. However, it's not quite as well put together in here. That's the only real con I've noticed to the Avalon interiors. Not just this one, but also I've noticed this with the 2021 Avalon that I reviewed. Like I mentioned, I like the interior for the plushness. However, some of these materials is just a little bit more crunchy in here. That's the only thing. It's not terrible. I mean, for a vehicle of this vintage and of this mileage, it's held up decently well. It's not like the worst thing, but I don't know, it's just something I noticed. Kind of like the Camrys with their industrial plastics, they seem to be a little bit more solid than this, but it's not really a big deal. This is totally acceptable. This is totally fine. I wouldn't have it any other way. I would still choose this over a Camry easily. You have one-touch automatic windows for all 4 windows. Nice little luxury touch. You also have automatic headlights, which is a great thing to see. You do have blind spot monitoring in this car as well, even in 2014. You have memory seats. The seats themselves are very comfortable. These are kind of like that white leather seat, and aside from a bit of wrinkling, they've aged really well in here. All this kind of chrome that they put inside of this interior with the center console, there's like a hint of Chrysler about it, so that's really the only actual thing I don't like design wise. But outside of that, it's I like it, man. It's got its own separated controls for the climate controls. The fan speed is kind of like this slider, if you will, like this touch haptic slider. You also have a tuning knob, volume knob. Audio system is decent in here. It's not garbage. It's not the best either, but you know, you can make do with this. You have a traditional gauge cluster here. It goes up to 160 miles an hour, and you have a little center helper screen there. Shows you some information like the range, your odometer, things like that. Physical parking brake down there at the bottom near your left foot. Good space in both the glove box as well as the center console here, and you also have another storage space in the middle where you can kind of put a phone in there or attempt to put a phone in there. You also have a USB charger and an aux cable as well. This car also comes with Bluetooth, and we have a sunroof in here, and the visibility in here and the driving position is all excellent. So a very easy car to drive, as I already mentioned. So let's go ahead and let's transition over into the rear seats, where we find a plethora of rear legroom. We also have some climate control vents, although one of the sliders back there is actually broken off for one of the vents, so something to keep in mind, but not a big deal. Seats back there also aged really well. However, one thing to note, and people in the comment section, please help me out with this, because I just can't seem to fold down the rear seats in this car. I don't know what that is, because in the 2021 Avalon I was able to. Those seats did fold 60-40, however this does not. This is a lot like the Lexus ES. In no generation of the ES could you fold down the rear seats, which that really pissed me off, but this seems to be the same thing. So that's very unfortunate. I looked in the trunk, I looked behind these seats, and I can't find a way to fold them down. But people in the comment section, please help me out if that's true. If the trunk itself is massive, no issues there. You also have a spare tire back there as well. So it is plenty practical, don't worry about that. I mean, for this price, you really can't beat it, man. For around $17,000. You can get a warranty on it if you want to, but really I don't think it's necessary. This is a solid car. Every freaking thing on it works. There's no stupid check engine lights. It's a solid car. It still purrs like a brand new vehicle. This is really well done. I really appreciate the Avalons. Honestly, there's no douchebaggery here because it's not a Lexus or anything like that. You're not trying to, you know, fool people into thinking that you're driving a luxury car. No, it's just a nice, humble Toyota, but you're driving a high quality object here. It's really, it rivals a lot of the newer luxury cars today, honestly, that cost like $50K plus. The quietness and the smoothness, it's really something to behold. So if you have a chance to test drive one of these things, definitely do so. It's really not that different from the 2021 Avalon that I tested out. Really, it feels like maybe 1 or 2% tighter than this in the turns. The steering wheel in this, it's just a lot more looser than it is on the 2021, but that makes it really easy to whip. You know, you can whip this thing with a pinky if you want. And I guess the new one is just a hair softer as well. You don't really hear the bumps as often, the larger bumps anyway, but this is 98% of what that car is. So you're getting a ton of car here for the money, and it doesn't look like you're driving something that's almost 8 years old now. But anyway, that's my look at the 2014 Toyota Avalon. I will leave all of Cary Imports information down in the description box so you can check this car out. But thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.